those who don't know me, I'm here today with two very special people who are my peers, Elizabeth Tuck and Diane Carter. They're also, Elizabeth is an advisor on my board as well. So I was told yesterday that the Community Wholeness Center is now in phase 2 of accreditation with Independent Living Canada. So we're still going through the process of becoming accredited, but we have been around for about 5.5 years. So I had a beautiful presentation. So my first slide was just the date, and second slide is who is Community Wholeness Center, or CWC. The Community Wholeness Center was inspired by my grandson in May of 2013. And then in January of 2014, we got a location in downtown Barrie, 59 Maple Avenue, and it was the street that probably had the most activity in Barrie. Some people have referred to some of the issues that they face in some of their cities, and we face the same thing. So the Community Wholeness Center did bring a lot of life to Maple Avenue, and since January 2014, we offered a 12,000 square foot affordable facility rental for community groups, individuals, and in-house inclusive programming. We had 12 offices that offered alternative holistic approaches to health and wellness. The word wholeness was very dear to my heart, so it needed to stay in there. In July in 2017, CWC underwent a branding consultation with Elizabeth Tuck of NLR and RC, and through that process, we identified that we have been following the independent living model. We didn't know we were following your model until it was brought to our attention in July of 2017. We just attracted a lot of individuals with a variety of disabilities. We provided volunteer training and development with the 12,000 square foot of affordable facility space with setup and tear down and clean up, and so functions like this we would have in our center. And so it allowed a really great opportunity for people with wheelchairs and walkers. We saw every age group, target market. So quickly go through. So in October of 2017, we sent a formal request to Independent Living Canada to become an accredited member agency, as we identified a gap between Toronto and Collingwood. So Centre for Independent Living Toronto was welcoming. They invited us down to their center. We took a tour. We had a presentation with John and Sandra, and they supported us along the way. In June of 2018, our application was accepted, and I found out yesterday that we are now in phase 2 of accreditation. Wow. So the history of CWC, between May 2013 and October of 2018, we supported over 305 not-for-profit organizations, community groups, pilot projects, entrepreneurs, and individuals with affordable facility rental space. We registered over 325 volunteers to support CWC's mission, vision, and mandate to facilitate our programs and events. We engaged every age group, every sector. We had inclusive programming. We had the Barrie Public Library Battle of the Books. We had cooking classes. We had speakers. We had concerts. We had community dinners, community showcases, drumming, watercolor, guided workshops, Zumba classes, movie nights, soccer training, after-school Spanish, English classes, roller skating, birthday parties, drama classes, vigils, prop construction, kids drama classes, and dance and trade shows. And we had the CNIB Senior Tech Fairs, which when I saw the one that National is having in, I believe it's December, the 3rd annual, I thought amazing, because there's such a need for that. So in total, we estimated about 8,000 people that have come through our doors in the last 5 years. Some of the people we served supported over 600 people with free income tax services. We have this program with the Canada Revenue Volunteer Income Tax Program. So it's a free program. We do it all year round. We were doing it on a walk-in basis, but we stopped that in September of this year to appointment only, and I'll explain why, because we moved locations. We provided 300 people with information and referral services. We provided 25 entrepreneurs with space for business startup and incubation. We provided 60 consumers, client peers with one-to-one resource services such as printer, telephone, cell phone, voicemail setup, and computer basics. We have supported 10 high school and homeschooled students with community service hours. We supported 22 vulnerable people with disabilities with volunteer opportunities, 2 of which have found part-time work. And just watching the evolution of individuals is, I can't express it. It's just amazing to watch people evolve from being, no confidence, no self-esteem, to being now one of them is sitting on our board of directors, so it's quite amazing. Our core contacts, we have a number of advisors on our board. We have a number of volunteer staff. What I forgot to mention was this 12,000 square foot space for the last 5.5 years has been 1,000% volunteer run. No paid positions, including myself. We have a board of directors that are currently in 51% have a disability, but we're in a transition. Our AGM is coming up November, December, and we are going to be looking for new board members. So I will be reaching out to Kimberly and getting some tidbits on how to do that successfully. Our sustainability status has been, you might say, a bit of a challenge because we were in a 12,000 square foot space, and the perception and the optics were that you are renting space, so you should be bringing in all kinds of money. And so it was deemed as a social enterprise. So it made it a little challenging for people to buy into what we were doing. They loved it. We supported all these organizations. But we are now working with Graham Knight, Barriston Law. He's, I think, one of the largest law firms in Barrie for sure. So he's working with us now to do a charitable status review. We did apply to Trillium for a seed application to do a feasibility study and a scan, as some people have referred to. But we were denied because apparently Trillium is only funding mental health, homeless, and drug addictions. And so apparently there's not a lot of money to go around to different, 2 minutes, oh my gosh, okay. We do have a secured operating line of credit as well. And we just applied for the Social Community Initiative application with the County of Simcoe. So now, CWC is rebranding itself, and we are going to be using CWC-ILC. And following our advanced branding consultation, we are now only focused on the 4 core programs of Independent Living Canada, and those are the information and referral, peer support, life skills training, service development. We have a new brochure. I was gonna bring some, but our printer didn't have them finished in time because we decided to leave a day early. So I will send them out if anyone wishes. One of the challenges that we have in our community is differentiating between independent living services and independent living centers. We did a presentation to the Accessibility Advisory Committee at the City of Barrie, and thank goodness I had a letter from Dan McGale from Independent Living Services, who agreed that there is a big difference between the two, and I even challenged the city clerk's office to change the minutes to reflect that we identified gaps in centers, not services, and it was this letter that helped us do that. So CWC, as of September 1st, moved to a whole new location now, which is amazing, because now it's, I mean, as great as that 12,000 square foot space is, and as great as, you know, everything we did would be a perfect independent living center, we just couldn't afford the $12,000 a month that the landlord wanted. So we decided we relocated to 80 Bradford Street, which is a location that has over 150 organizations within that building. And so we are now focused on the administration office and collaborating and providing the programs that we currently have, which is peer-to-peer support group. We've already collaborated with the Gilbert Center, formerly the AIDS Committee of Simcoe County, who is allowing us to use their boardroom every Tuesday to do the peer-to-peer support group. And then we have our guided watercolor program, we have our income tax program, we have our peer-to-peer support program. So we're just now going to expand on the 4 in this new location. I had a beautiful picture. It used to be the old General Electric building. Does anybody know General Electric, the production plant? It was in Barrie. That's the building we're in now. And I had a beautiful picture, but anyway, thank you for even allowing me to be here, because it is only for members. So
we got time for a couple of very quick questions. We're trying to move it. We're trying to get out so that because it's getting warm in here, and we still have the penny draw and stuff like that.
Oh, right.
And but we have, you know, we'll have contact information, and so, you know, this meeting is just kind of that first step, right? To be able to get familiar with faces, and then we connect with each other afterwards. So, is there any quick questions for Yolanda?
So I guess it's just from Collingwood, because that is our catchment area and we do serve Barrie. And I know you were saying the idea of, like, you know, what services and the difference between center to service, because it's, I guess, looking at population, which is a big one, because if we look at Toronto and then their next spaces that they service, like, they're responsible for City of Mississauga, Oakville, which are huge populations. And then we looked at, it was New Brunswick that only has one center for an entire province. So it was, what steps will you take not to duplicate services that already exist in all of Simcoe, Bruce, and Grey?
Exactly, and before we even applied, we looked at the website, we looked at yours, and it did not say Simcoe County anywhere, but it does say Simcoe County now in brackets and 211, but it didn't 3-4 months ago when we did all the research. Fair enough. So we know that you went through a big transition too with a move. So now that we're in this new location, we are basically going to do a scan, and as I introduced myself when we first arrived. Mm-hmm. So I would definitely love to come and do a site visit. Look at what you're doing, all the programs and services that you are doing in Collingwood. We did some of those same programs here, but we have people in Barrie who have said, oh great, now I don't have to travel to Collingwood, especially in the winter time. So we do have a need in Barrie. So now it's a time to look at, do a community scan. Simcoe Community Services has asked to meet with me. I'm gonna come and meet with you. There's other agencies in the building that we are going to negotiate collaborative, inclusive programming that would be different than yours. Definitely, we can't duplicate services because
No, it's double dipping into government
exactly.
funds.
Well, and we have zero funding coming from anywhere, including, we've just been volunteer run. So it's time to look at getting some funding, and we'll definitely be looking at duplication of services. We won't be duplicating your services, but on the other hand, we have to look at the individuals who don't want to travel to get the services, and some don't, because some don't travel, but they need the services. So it's going to be a discussion, I'm sure, that we will be having. But thank you.
Thank you.